The dreamy adventure of Little Star. In the vast, twinkling expanse of the night sky, there was a tiny, shimmering star named Little Star. Little Star was different from the other stars in the celestial realm. While most stars were content to shine brightly in their constellations, Little Star had a restless spirit and a deep curiosity about the world below. Every night, as the earth spun beneath her, she would gaze down at the cities, forests, and oceans, wondering what it would be like to explore them herself. One particularly magical night, a faint whisper of a wish floated up from the earth, carried on a gentle breeze. Little Star, more curious than ever, caught the wish in her glowing tendrils and listened closely. It was the wish of a young girl named Lily, who was feeling lost and alone in her small village. Lily wished for a friend who could understand her dreams and help her find her place in the world. Moved by Lily's heartfelt plea, Little Star made a decision. She would leave her place in the sky and venture down to earth to be Lily's friend. But stars cannot simply descend to the ground. They must transform. Little Star closed her eyes and concentrated, her light pulsing and shimmering as she changed her form. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself as a tiny, luminous creature, not quite a fairy but something equally magical. She fluttered down to earth, her light illuminating the dark sky. As she approached Lily's village, she saw the girl sitting by a small pond, her face illuminated by the moonlight. Lily looked up, and for a moment, she thought she saw a star falling from the sky. But then, she saw a small, glowing being with wings like gossamer and eyes that sparkled like diamonds. "Hello, Lily," Little Star said, her voice as soft as a whisper. "I am Little Star, and I heard your wish. I have come to be your friend." Lily's eyes widened in wonder. "A star? You're a star?" she asked, her voice trembling with excitement. Little Star nodded, her light flickering with a warm glow. "Yes, but I am more than just a star now. I am here to help you find your way." Lily smiled, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of hope. "Thank you, Little Star. I have so many dreams, but I don't know how to make them come true. I want to be a healer, to help people and animals, but I don't know where to start." Little Star understood the weight of Lily's words. "Then let us begin this adventure together. I will show you the way, and you will show me the world." The two set off early the next morning, Lily leading the way through the winding paths of the village. Little Star fluttered beside her, her light guiding them even in the darkest corners. They soon came to the edge of a dense forest, where the trees seemed to whisper secrets in the wind. "This is the Forest of Whispers," Lily explained. "It's said that if you listen closely, you can hear the answers to your questions. But it's also dangerous, and many who enter never return." Little Star, undeterred by the warnings, smiled. "I am a star, Lily. I bring light to the darkness. We will be safe." Hand in hand, they ventured into the forest. The trees towered above them, their leaves rustling with the sound of countless voices. Lily felt a chill, but Little Star's warmth and light kept her spirits high. As they walked deeper, they heard a faint, melodic tune. It was the song of the forest, a symphony of nature's harmony. Suddenly, a small, injured bird fell from a branch, its wings damaged and its body trembling. Lily's heart ached, and she gently picked up the bird, cradling it in her hands. "Can you help it, Lily?" Little Star asked, her eyes filled with compassion. Lily nodded, determined. "I will do my best." She found a quiet spot by a stream and began to tend to the bird's wounds. Little Star watched, her light brightening as Lily's gentle touch and care brought the bird back to life. As the bird recovered, it began to sing a beautiful melody, one that filled the forest with a sense of peace. The trees seemed to sway in approval, and the wind carried the song far and wide. "That was the song of healing," Little Star explained. "You have a gift, Lily, a true gift for healing." Lily's eyes welled up with tears of joy and gratitude. "I can't believe it. I really can make a difference." Emboldened by their success, they continued their journey deeper into the forest. They encountered a talking fox who shared ancient wisdom and guided them through the treacherous paths. They met a wise old owl who taught them about the balance of nature and the importance of listening to the earth. As they journeyed, Lily's confidence grew. She began to see the forest in a new light, understanding its rhythms and the interconnectedness of all living things. Little Star, in turn, learned about the wonders of the earth and the courage it took to face the unknown. After days of travel, they emerged from the forest and found themselves at the edge of a vast, shimmering lake. The water was so clear that it reflected the stars above, creating a mirror image of the night sky. In the center of the lake, a small island could be seen, glowing with a mysterious light. "That is the Island of Dreams," Little Star said. "It is said that those who visit it can see their true path in life. But it is guarded by the Keeper of Dreams, a being who tests the hearts of all who seek its wisdom." Lily, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation, took a deep breath. "I am ready," she said. "I want to know what my future holds." They found a small boat by the shore and rowed across the lake. As they approached the island, a figure appeared on the shore, surrounded by an aura of light and shadow. The Keeper of Dreams was a majestic being, half human and half celestial, with eyes that seemed to see through to one's soul. "Welcome, travelers," the Keeper said, her voice both gentle and commanding. "To reach the heart of the Island of Dreams, you must first answer 3 questions. If your hearts are pure and your intentions true, you will find what you seek." Lily and Little Star stepped onto the island, their hearts beating with anticipation. The Keeper of Dreams asked her questions, each one probing deeper into their souls. "Why do you seek the wisdom of the Island of Dreams, Lily?" Lily thought for a moment. "I seek it to find my purpose, to understand how I can use my gift of healing to help others and make the world a better place." The Keeper nodded, her eyes softening. "And you, Little Star?" Little Star smiled. "I seek it to understand the world below the sky, to learn and grow, and to help my friend find her path." The Keeper of Dreams was satisfied. "You have answered truthfully. Follow me, and I will show you the heart of the island." They walked through a maze of glowing trees and arrived at a clearing where a large, crystalline structure stood. It was a temple of dreams, its walls shimmering with the light of 1,000 stars. Inside, they found a pool of water that seemed to hold the reflection of the entire universe. "Look into the pool, Lily," the Keeper said. "Your dreams will show you the way." Lily hesitated, but then leaned over the pool. As she gazed into the water, she saw visions of her future. She saw herself as a healer, tending to the sick and injured, from the smallest creatures to the largest animals. She saw a village where everyone was healthy and happy, and she realized that her gift was not just for her own benefit, but for the benefit of all. "Thank you," Lily said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I see my path now." Little Star, too, looked into the pool. She saw herself flying high above the earth, watching over Lily and guiding her on her journey. She saw a world where light and hope prevailed, and she knew that her decision to come to Earth had been the right one. The Keeper of Dreams smiled. "You have both passed the test. Go forth and make your dreams a reality." With renewed determination, Lily and Little Star left the Island of Dreams and rowed back to the shore. They returned to the village, and Lily began to learn more about healing from the wise old herbalist who lived there. Little Star, ever by her side, offered guidance and support, her light guiding her through the darkest moments. As the years passed, Lily grew into a skilled and respected healer, known far and wide for her ability to mend bodies and soothe souls. Little Star, now a guardian of the village, watched over Lily and the many others she helped. Together, they made the village a place of healing and hope. One night, as Lily tended to a patient, she looked up at the sky and saw a familiar, glowing star. She smiled, knowing that Little Star was always with her, even when she couldn't see her. The star twinkled back, a silent promise that their bond would never be broken. And so, the dreamy adventure of Little Star and Lily continued, a tale of friendship, courage, and the power of dreams to guide us on our journeys. In the heart of the village, a small plaque was placed by the pond where they had first met, a testament to the magic of their friendship and the light that had brought them together. The end. This story is a reminder that sometimes, the most unexpected friends can lead us to our true path. Little Star's journey from the sky to the earth, and her transformation into a guide and companion, shows that the universe has a way of bringing together those who are meant to help each other. Lily's journey from a lost and lonely girl to a skilled healer is a testament to the power of belief and the importance of following one's dreams. Whispering Winds and the Sleepy Moon. In the heart of the sprawling, ancient forest of Eldoria, where the trees reached higher than the tallest mountains and the air was thick with the scent of moss and wildflowers, there lived a peculiar and enchanting phenomenon known as the Whispering Winds. These winds were unlike any other. They carried the secrets of the forest, the whispers of the past, and the dreams of the future. They were the guardians of Eldoria, the silent sentinels that watched over the creatures and plants that called this place home. One night, under the gentle glow of a sleepy moon, a young girl named Lila wandered into the forest. Lila was not from Eldoria. She had come from a small village on the edge of the forest, a place where the trees thinned and the world beyond the forest's embrace was visible. Her village was known for its tales of the forest, stories passed down from generation to generation, each one more magical than the last. Lila had always been captivated by these stories, especially the one about the whispering winds and the sleepy moon. Lila's parents, both skilled storytellers, had warned her never to venture into the forest alone, especially at night. But the call of the unknown was too strong, and the promise of a story that no one else could tell had lured her away from the safety of her village. She carried a small, wooden lantern, its light flickering like a heartbeat in the darkness, and a leather-bound journal, her most prized possession, where she intended to record the secrets she hoped to uncover. As Lila stepped into the forest, the air seemed to hum with a quiet energy. The trees, ancient and wise, seemed to lean in, curious about the young girl who dared to enter their domain. She walked slowly, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. The forest was dense, and the path was barely visible, but Lila followed the faint trail she had heard her parents speak of, the one that led to the heart of the forest. The deeper she went, the more the forest seemed to come alive. The leaves rustled softly, and the branches swayed, as if dancing to an unheard melody. The whispering winds began to murmur, their voices gentle and soothing. Lila listened carefully, trying to pick out words from the soft, rhythmic whispers. At first, she heard only the rustling of leaves and the distant call of nocturnal birds, but as she continued, the winds grew clearer, and she began to hear the stories they carried. The winds told her of the days when the forest was young, when the trees were mere saplings and the animals roamed freely without fear. They spoke of the great dragons that once soared above the canopy, their scales glinting in the sunlight, and the elves who built their homes in the branches, living in harmony with the forest. Lila wrote furiously in her journal, her hand barely able to keep up with the flood of stories. As the night deepened, the sleepy moon rose higher in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the forest. The moon was incredibly beautiful, but it had a peculiar effect on the forest. It seemed to slow everything down, making the winds whisper even more softly and the trees sway more gently. The creatures of the forest, too, grew quieter, as if the sleepy moon had cast a spell of calm over them. Lila felt a wave of drowsiness wash over her, and she realized that the sleepy moon had the same effect on her as it did on the forest. She found a comfortable spot under a large, ancient oak and settled down, her journal still open in her lap. The whispering winds circled around her, their whispers lulling her into a peaceful sleep. As Lila drifted off, she had the most vivid dreams. She saw the forest as it had been in its prime, vibrant and full of life. She saw the dragons, their wings spreading wide, and the elves, their laughter echoing through the trees. But she also saw the future, a time when the forest was in danger, threatened by the encroachment of the human world and the shadow of destruction that loomed over it. In her dream, Lila met a young elf named Aaron, who had been tasked with protecting the forest from the threats that lay ahead. Aaron was wise beyond his years, and he showed Lila the secrets of the whispering winds and the power of the sleepy moon. He taught her that the winds were not just guardians but also messengers, carrying the voices of those who needed help. The sleepy moon, he explained, was a guardian of balance, ensuring that the forest remained a place of peace and tranquility. Aaron told Lila of a great tree at the heart of the forest, the Tree of Echoes, which was said to be the source of the whispering winds. The tree was ancient, older than the forest itself, and it held the key to saving the forest from its impending doom. But to reach the Tree of Echoes, Lila would have to overcome many challenges and face her fears. Lila woke up with a start, the dream still fresh in her mind. She felt a sense of purpose, a determination to help the forest and its inhabitants. She knew that she had to find the Tree of Echoes, and she had to do it quickly. With renewed energy, Lila rose and continued deeper into the forest. The whispering winds guided her, their whispers now clear and strong, leading her through the twists and turns of the forest. She encountered many creatures along the way, from tiny, glowing fireflies to majestic, wise owls. Each one offered her a piece of wisdom or a clue to help her on her journey. As the night wore on, the sleepy moon began to wane, and the forest grew darker. Lila's lantern was almost out of oil, and she could feel the weight of the forest pressing down on her. But she pressed on, driven by the stories she had heard and the vision of the Tree of Echoes. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Lila reached the heart of the forest. There, in a clearing bathed in the last light of the sleepy moon, stood the Tree of Echoes. It was a towering, ancient tree, its trunk wide and gnarled, and its leaves shimmering with a silvery light. The whispering winds swirled around the tree, their voices growing louder and more urgent. Lila approached the tree, her heart racing. She placed her hand on the rough bark and closed her eyes. The whispers of the winds became a symphony in her mind, and she felt the tree's energy coursing through her. The Tree of Echoes showed her the future, a vision of the forest thriving once more, but only if she could help. Lila opened her eyes and saw a small, glowing seed at the base of the tree. The whispering winds told her that this seed held the power to revive the forest, to bring back the balance that had been lost. But to plant the seed, she would have to return to her village and convince the people to change their ways, to respect the forest and live in harmony with it. With the seed in her hand, Lila made her way back through the forest. The whispering winds continued to guide her, their whispers now a constant presence in her mind. As she emerged from the forest, the first light of dawn was beginning to break. Lila looked back at the tree, now hidden by the dense foliage, and felt a deep connection to the forest and its inhabitants. When she returned to her village, Lila was a different person. She had seen the beauty and the fragility of the forest, and she knew what she had to do. She gathered the villagers and shared her story, her dream, and the vision of the Tree of Echoes. At first, the villagers were skeptical, but as Lila spoke, the whispering winds carried her words, and the villagers began to listen. With the help of the villagers, Lila planted the seed in a clearing on the edge of the forest. The seed grew quickly, and soon, a young tree stood in its place. The villagers began to respect the forest, to care for it, and protect it. They built a small shrine to the Tree of Echoes, and Lila became a guardian of the forest, a bridge between the human world and the mystical realm of Eldoria. Years passed, and the forest thrived. The whispering winds continued to carry the stories of the forest, and the sleepy moon ensured that the forest remained a place of peace and harmony. Lila grew into a wise and respected leader, and the legend of the whispering winds and the sleepy moon became a part of the village's heritage, passed down to future generations. And so, the forest of Eldoria and the village on its edge lived in harmony, a testament to the power of nature and the magic of the whispering winds and the sleepy moon. Lila had fulfilled her destiny, and the forest remained a place of wonder and enchantment, a secret known only to those who dared to listen to its whispers and follow the path of the sleepy moon. The magical forest of Sleepytime Wonders. In a world far beyond the reach of modern cities and bustling towns, there lay an ancient and enchanted forest known as the Forest of Sleepytime Wonders. This forest, hidden from the eyes of the mundane, was a realm where dreams and reality intertwined, and where the inhabitants lived in a perpetual state of serene, yet vivid, wonder. The trees in this forest were not just any trees. They were ancient sentinels, their bark shimmering with a gentle glow that illuminated the paths like moonlight. The leaves whispered secrets of the universe, and the flowers bloomed with colors that no human eye had ever seen. But the most magical thing about this forest was its ability to bring to life the wildest dreams of those who entered it. The arrival of Lila. Lila had always been a dreamer. At the age of 12, she had a vivid imagination that often transported her to far-off lands and fantastical worlds. One evening, as she lay in her bed, a strange breeze blew through her window, carrying with it the scent of something both familiar and otherworldly. The wind whispered her name, and in her dreams that night, Lila found herself standing at the edge of the forest of Sleepytime Wonders. The forest was alive with a soft, ethereal light. The ground beneath her feet was covered in a carpet of moss that felt like silk to the touch. As she took her first step into the forest, the world around her changed. The trees parted to reveal a path lined with glowing flowers, and the air filled with the sweetest melody she had ever heard. It was a song of the forest, a lullaby that promised peace and adventure. Lila followed the path, her curiosity growing with each step. She felt a strange sense of belonging, as if she had been meant to find this place all along. As she walked, the forest seemed to come alive around her. Butterflies with wings of silver and gold flitted past, and small creatures with eyes that sparkled like stars peeked out from behind the leaves. The air was filled with the scent of honey and lavender, and the ground beneath her feet was soft and warm, as if the forest itself was cradling her. The guardian of the forest. After what felt like an eternity, Lila came to a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a towering tree, its branches reaching high into the sky. The tree was unlike any she had ever seen. Its trunk was pulsating with a gentle, warm light, and its leaves shimmered with a multitude of colors. At the base of the tree, a figure sat, its form cloaked in a mist that seemed to shift and change with the wind. As Lila approached, the figure stood, revealing a young girl with hair as black as midnight and eyes that glinted like stars. "Welcome, Lila," the girl said in a voice that was soft and melodious. "I am Luna, the guardian of the forest of Sleepytime Wonders. You have been chosen to enter this realm, to explore its wonders, and to learn its secrets." Lila felt a mixture of awe and apprehension. "Why have I been chosen?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Luna smiled, a smile that seemed to light up the entire clearing. "You have a pure heart and a vivid imagination. The forest recognizes such qualities and calls to those who can bring its dreams to life. But be warned, Lila. The forest is a place of both beauty and danger. You must be brave and wise to navigate its paths and uncover its secrets." Lila nodded, her heart pounding with excitement. "I'm ready," she said, her voice more confident than she felt. The dreaming path. Luna led Lila to a small, winding path that glittered with stardust. "This is the dreaming path," Luna explained. "It will lead you through the forest, showing you the wonders that lie within. But it will also test your courage and your wisdom. Each step you take will bring you closer to the heart of the forest, where the true magic lies. Are you prepared?" Lila took a deep breath and stepped onto the path. As she did, the forest around her seemed to come even more alive. The leaves rustled with a symphony of sounds, and the trees swayed gently, as if guiding her forward. Luna disappeared, leaving Lila to follow the path on her own. The first wonder, the Garden of Whispering Blossoms. The dreaming path led Lila to a garden filled with the most beautiful flowers she had ever seen. Each flower was a different color, and they seemed to pulse with a soft, rhythmic light. As she approached, she heard a faint whispering, as if the flowers were speaking to her. She bent down to listen more closely, and the whispers grew louder. "Remember who you are," they whispered. "Believe in the impossible." Lila stood up, her heart full of warmth. She knew these were the words she needed to hear. She had always felt different, as if she didn't quite belong in the world she knew. But here, in the forest of Sleepytime Wonders, she felt a deep connection to everything around her. She continued down the path, her steps growing more confident. The second wonder, the Lake of Reflections. Next, the path led Lila to a serene lake, its surface as smooth as glass. The sky above reflected in the water, creating a mirror of the night sky. Lila stepped closer, and as she looked into the lake, she saw not just her reflection, but a series of visions. In one, she saw herself as a great leader, guiding others through difficult times. In another, she saw herself creating art that inspired the world. Each vision was a glimpse of a future she could choose for herself. A gentle voice spoke from the water. "Choose your path, Lila. But remember, every choice has consequences. Be true to yourself, and the world will follow." Lila pondered the visions, her mind racing with possibilities. She realized that the forest was not just a place of magic, but a place of self-discovery. She took a deep breath and continued down the path, her heart full of purpose. The third wonder, the enchanted animals. As Lila walked deeper into the forest, she encountered a group of animals that seemed to be waiting for her. There was a rabbit with wings, a fox with a tail that glowed like a flame, and a deer with antlers that sparkled like diamonds. Each animal approached her, one by one, and spoke to her in a language she somehow understood. The rabbit said, "Hope is the light that guides you through the darkest times. Never lose it." The fox said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. Be brave." The deer said, "Kindness is the most powerful magic of all. Treat others as you wish to be treated." Lila listened carefully, feeling the weight of their words. She knew that the animals were not just creatures of the forest, but keepers of ancient wisdom. She thanked them and continued on her journey, her heart full of the lessons they had imparted. The fourth wonder, the dancing lights. The path led Lila to a clearing where the air was filled with tiny, luminous orbs that danced and swirled around her. The orbs were of every color imaginable, and they formed intricate patterns in the air, like a living tapestry. As Lila watched, she felt a sudden urge to join the dance. She stepped into the clearing, and the orbs began to move around her, guiding her steps. She danced with the lights, her movements growing more fluid and graceful. The dance was a celebration of life, of the beauty and magic that surrounded her. As she danced, she felt a deep connection to the forest, as if she was becoming a part of it. The dance ended, and the orbs faded, leaving Lila breathless and filled with a sense of belonging. The heart of the forest. Finally, the path led Lila to the heart of the forest, where a magnificent tree stood, its branches reaching high into the sky. The tree was the source of the forest's magic, and it pulsed with a warm, golden light. As Lila approached, the tree seemed to come alive, its branches lowering to greet her. A voice, deep and resonant, spoke from within the tree. "Lila, you have journeyed far and learned much. The forest of Sleepytime Wonders is a place of dreams and reality, where the impossible becomes possible. You have shown courage, wisdom, and a pure heart. You are now a part of this magic." The tree's branches formed a canopy above her, and a beam of light shone down, enveloping her in a warm embrace. Lila felt a surge of energy, as if the forest was imbuing her with its magic. She knew that she would carry this magic with her, no matter where her path led. The return home. As the light faded, Lila found herself standing at the edge of the forest, the path she had taken now a distant memory. She turned to look back, and the forest seemed to shimmer and fade, as if it was a dream. But she knew it was real. She had been changed, and the magic of the forest was now a part of her. Lila returned home, her heart full of wonder and her mind brimming with new ideas. She knew that the forest of Sleepytime Wonders would always be a part of her, a place she could return to in her dreams whenever she needed a reminder of the magic that existed in the world. The legacy. Years went by, and Lila grew into a woman of great wisdom and kindness. She became a leader in her community, inspiring others with her vision and her courage. She never forgot the lessons she had learned in the forest, and she carried the magic of the forest of Sleepytime Wonders with her wherever she went. Lila often spoke of the forest to her children and grandchildren, and they, in turn, passed the stories down to their own children. The forest of Sleepytime Wonders became a legend, a place of dreams and wonder that inspired generations to believe in the impossible and to follow their hearts. And in the darkest of times, when the world seemed heavy and filled with despair, Lila would close her eyes and return to the forest, where the trees whispered secrets, the animals shared their wisdom, and the dancing lights reminded her of the beauty that still existed. The forest of Sleepytime Wonders was not just a place of magic, it was a place of hope, and Lila, the dreamer who had found her way there, had become its greatest guardian. The owl who couldn't sleep. In the heart of a vast, ancient forest, where the moonlight filtered through the dense canopy and the night was alive with the symphony of nocturnal creatures, there lived an owl named Luna. Luna was no ordinary owl. She was a barn owl with feathers as white as the moon itself, eyes that glinted with the wisdom of the ages, and a heart that was as curious as it was kind. But Luna had a problem. She couldn't sleep. Every night, as the other owls in the forest began their hunting, Luna found herself wide awake, her thoughts racing and her mind filled with questions. She wondered about the stars, the moon, the trees, and the creatures that lived in the forest. Why did the leaves rustle in the wind? How did the moon stay in the sky? What did the other animals do during the day? Her curiosity kept her from dozing off, and as the days passed, Luna began to feel exhausted. One particularly restless night, Luna decided to explore the forest and perhaps find some answers to her questions. She spread her wings and glided silently through the branches, her keen eyes scanning the darkness. The forest was a different place at night, shrouded in mystery and filled with the sounds of creatures that only came out after the sun had set. As she flew, Luna heard a gentle rustling in the bushes. She landed on a nearby branch and peered down to see a small, shivering mouse. The mouse, sensing Luna's presence, looked up with wide, fearful eyes. "Don't be afraid," Luna whispered softly, her voice a soothing melody. "I won't hurt you. What's your name?" The mouse hesitated for a moment, then replied, "I'm Timmy. I'm just trying to find some food before the night gets too cold." Luna felt a pang of sympathy. "Would you like some help? I can see very well in the dark, you know?" Timmy, surprised by the owl's kindness, nodded eagerly. Luna swooped down and, with her sharp talons, caught a plump worm. She gently placed it in front of Timmy, who gobbled it up gratefully. "Thank you, Luna," Timmy said, his tiny voice filled with gratitude. "You're the first owl I've ever met who wasn't trying to eat me." Luna chuckled, a soft, melodic sound. "Not all owls are hunters, Timmy. Some of us are just curious." Timmy looked at Luna curiously. "What are you curious about?" Luna sighed, her feathers rustling in the breeze. "Everything, I suppose. The night is so full of wonder, but I can't seem to quiet my mind enough to sleep. I'm always thinking, always wondering." Timmy's ears perked up. "I can help you with that, Luna. But first, why don't we find some warm place to rest?" Luna agreed, and the two friends set off deeper into the forest. They found a cozy hollow in an old oak tree, where they settled in for the night. Timmy, being a mouse, knew a thing or two about finding peace in the dark. He whispered to Luna, "Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Focus on the sound of the forest. Imagine the leaves swaying and the branches whispering secrets." Luna did as Timmy suggested, and for a moment, her mind calmed. But just as she was about to drift off, a new question popped into her head. "What sound does a tree make when it's whispering?" Timmy chuckled. "I don't know, Luna. Maybe it's the sound of the wind passing through its leaves, or the creaking of its branches. Just let it be. Sometimes, it's better to enjoy the mystery." Luna tried again, this time more determined. She listened to the forest, feeling the cool night air on her feathers and the gentle sway of the tree. Slowly, her thoughts began to quiet, and she felt a sense of peace wash over her. Just as she was about to fall asleep, a branch snapped nearby, and a shadowy figure appeared. Luna and Timmy froze, their hearts pounding. The figure stepped into the moonlight, revealing a wise old fox with eyes as bright as stars. The fox introduced himself as Felix and explained that he had been watching Luna for some time. "You are a unique owl, Luna," Felix said, his voice smooth and comforting. "Your curiosity is a gift, but it's also a challenge. You must learn to balance your thirst for knowledge with the need for rest." Luna felt a sense of relief. "I try, Felix, but it's so hard. There are so many things I want to understand." Felix nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "Knowledge is like a river, Luna. It flows and changes, and sometimes it's best to let it flow without trying to grasp every drop. But if you truly seek answers, you must also seek balance. The forest has its rhythms, and so does the mind." Luna listened intently, her wings twitching as she processed Felix's words. What can I do to find this balance, Felix? The fox smiled, a mischievous glint in his eye. Why don't we take a journey together? We'll explore the forest, and perhaps by the time we return, you'll have found your answers. Luna's eyes sparkled with excitement. I would love that, Felix. Let's go. And so, the owl, the mouse, and the fox set off on a journey through the forest. They traveled through the dense underbrush, over babbling brooks, and under the canopy of towering trees. Along the way, they encountered all sorts of creatures, bats that swooped through the air, rabbits that hopped quietly in the shadows, and even a family of raccoons that were busy scavenging for food. Luna asked questions of each creature they met, and to her surprise, they all had something to offer. The bats told her about the patterns of the night sky and how they navigated using echolocation. The rabbits shared stories of their burrows and the safety they found in the earth. The raccoons spoke of their clever hands and the joy of discovering hidden treasures. As they journeyed deeper into the forest, Luna began to understand that every creature had its own way of finding peace and balance. The bats found it in the rhythm of their flight, the rabbits in the security of their homes, and the raccoons in the joy of exploration. Luna realized that perhaps her peace lay in the same balance. Embrace her curiosity, but also find moments of rest and reflection. Finally, as the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, they returned to the oak tree. Luna, feeling more at ease than she had in a long time, nestled into the hollow and closed her eyes. The forest was alive with the sounds of the waking world, but Luna felt a sense of calm that she had never known before. Felix and Timmy watched over her as she drifted into a peaceful sleep. When Luna awoke, she felt refreshed and renewed. The forest was still full of mysteries, but she was no longer afraid of them. She understood that her curiosity was a part of who she was, but she also knew that she could find peace in the midst of it. From that day on, Luna still explored the forest at night, but she did so with a newfound sense of balance. She took time to rest, to reflect, and to enjoy the simple beauty of the world around her. Her nights were filled with wonder, but her days were filled with rest, and she became the most content and wise owl in the forest. And so, the owl who couldn't sleep learned that sometimes the greatest answers come when we learn to listen to the silence and find peace in the rhythm of life. Luna's journey taught her that the forest, like the mind, was a place of both mystery and rest, and that the key to happiness was finding the balance between the two. The cozy blanket and the journey to dreamland. In the heart of a quaint village, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a little girl named Lila. Lila was a curious and adventurous soul, with a heart as warm as the sun on a summer's day. She had a charming cottage on the edge of the village, surrounded by a garden of wildflowers and an old, gnarled apple tree that whispered secrets in the wind. Lila's most treasured possession was a soft, cozy blanket, hand-stitched by her grandmother, Ivy. The blanket was a patchwork of vibrant colors and intricate patterns, each square holding a story of its own. There were squares of deep blue that reminded Lila of the ocean, squares of bright yellow that made her think of sunflowers, and even a few squares of shimmering silver that seemed to catch the light of the moon. But the most special square of all was a soft, buttery cream color with a delicate embroidery of a tiny, sleeping owl. This square was made from the wool of the village's oldest sheep, Mrs. Woolley, who had a reputation for being the most gentle and wise of all the animals. Every night, Lila would curl up with her blanket, feeling the warmth and comfort it brought. She would close her eyes and let her imagination take her on a journey to a magical place called Dreamland. Dreamland was a realm where anything was possible, where the stars danced and the moon sang, and where Lila could explore the wonders of the universe without ever leaving her cozy bed. One particularly chilly autumn evening, as the leaves turned golden and the sky painted itself in shades of orange and pink, Lila snuggled under her blanket and whispered a secret wish. "I wish I could visit Dreamland in the real world," she said softly, her voice carried away by the gentle breeze. That night, as she drifted off to sleep, the fabric of the blanket seemed to come alive. The patterns began to glow, and the tiny owl embroidered on the special square opened its eyes. It was no longer a simple piece of fabric. It was a portal, a gateway to the place Lila had only ever dreamed about. Lila found herself standing in a meadow, the air filled with the sweet scent of lavender and the sound of gentle laughter. The sky was a brilliant tapestry of colors, and the stars shimmered like diamonds. She looked down and saw that she was still wrapped in her cozy blanket, which now felt more like a cape, light and airy, yet still warm and comforting. "Welcome, Lila, to Dreamland," a soft voice said. She turned to see a young girl, about her age, with hair as dark as the night and eyes that sparkled like the stars. "I am Luna, the guardian of Dreamland. I heard your wish and decided to grant it. But remember, Dreamland is a place of wonder and magic, and it needs your help to stay that way." Lila was both excited and a little nervous. "What do you mean by help?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Luna smiled and pointed to a distant hill. "There is a great evil that threatens Dreamland, a creature known as the Shadow Beast. It has been spreading darkness and fear, and to defeat it, we need the light of a pure heart. Your heart, Lila." Lila felt a surge of determination. She was ready to face any challenge to protect the magic of Dreamland. "I'll do it, Luna. What do I need to do?" Luna led Lila to a grove of ancient trees, their leaves glowing with a soft, golden light. "First, you must gather the light of the ancients. These trees have been here since the beginning of time, and their light is the purest form of magic in Dreamland. You must collect enough light to create a beacon that can guide us to the Shadow Beast." Lila nodded and approached the nearest tree. She reached out a hand, and as her fingers touched the trunk, a warm, golden light flowed into her. She felt a surge of energy and peace, and the tree seemed to smile. She moved from tree to tree, collecting the light, and soon her blanket was glowing with a radiant, golden hue. With the light of the ancients in hand, Lila and Luna set off towards the hill. As they walked, the landscape changed. The meadows gave way to dense forests, and the sky darkened with ominous clouds. Lila could feel the presence of the Shadow Beast, a malevolent force that seemed to suck the light out of everything it touched. "Be brave, Lila," Luna whispered, her voice steady but filled with a hint of concern. "The Shadow Beast is powerful, but it cannot withstand the light of a pure heart." They reached the top of the hill, and there, in a deep, dark cave, they could see the Shadow Beast. It was a massive, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes, and it seemed to be made entirely of darkness. The air around the cave was thick with an oppressive silence, and Lila felt a chill run down her spine. Lila took a deep breath and stepped forward. She held her blanket out in front of her, and the golden light grew brighter. The Shadow Beast hissed, its eyes narrowing as it sensed the light. It lunged at Lila, but the light from her blanket created a shield around her, protecting her from the darkness. "Use the light to guide it away," Luna instructed. Lila nodded and focused all her energy on the blanket. The light grew even stronger, and she could feel it pulsing with a life of its own. She directed the light towards the Shadow Beast, and it began to retreat, its form flickering and weakening. As the creature backed away, Lila and Luna followed, driving it deeper into the shadows. The light from the blanket was so intense that it began to disperse the darkness, and soon the cave was filled with a warm, golden glow. The Shadow Beast let out a final, anguished cry and dissipated into nothingness, leaving only a faint trace of its presence. The sky above the hill cleared, and the stars shone brighter than ever. The meadows and forests around them came to life, the colors more vibrant and the air filled with the sound of laughter and joy. Lila felt a sense of accomplishment and peace wash over her. Luna hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Lila. You have saved Dreamland. Your pure heart and the light of the ancients were the only things that could defeat the Shadow Beast." Lila smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest that she had never felt before. "I'm glad I could help, but how do I get back home?" Luna pointed to a shimmering portal that had appeared in the distance. "This will take you back to your cottage. Remember, Dreamland will always be here, and if you ever need to return, just whisper your wish to the blanket." Lila nodded and walked towards the portal, her blanket still glowing with the light of the ancients. As she stepped through, the portal closed behind her, and she found herself back in her bedroom, the moonlight streaming through her window. She woke up the next morning, feeling more refreshed and happy than she had in a long time. She looked at her blanket, now back to its familiar patchwork, and smiled. She knew that the magic of dreamland was still with her, and that no matter what challenges she faced in the real world, she could always find comfort and strength in her cozy blanket. From that day on, Lila's adventures in dreamland became a nightly ritual. She explored enchanted forests, crossed rivers of stardust, and met creatures of all sorts, from talking rabbits to flying unicorns. But no matter where her journeys took her, she always returned to her cozy bed, feeling a deep connection to the magical realm that had become a part of her. And so, the cozy blanket not only kept Lila warm and comfortable, but also became a symbol of her bravery, her pure heart, and her ability to find light even in the darkest of times. It was a journey that would stay with her forever, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary adventures begin in the simplest of places. Luna's moonlit adventure. In the quaint village of Silver Lake, where the moon was the star of the night sky, lived a young girl named Luna. She was known for her silvery hair that shimmered like the moon itself and her eyes, which sparkled with the same celestial brilliance. Luna was not just beautiful. She was also the keeper of the village's ancient secrets, entrusted with the care of the moonstone, a magical gem that ensured the village's prosperity and safety. Every night, Luna would climb to the top of the old oak tree in the center of the village and gaze up at the moon, her heart filled with wonder and a deep connection to the night. She had always felt a pull towards the moon, as if it was calling to her, whispering secrets she couldn't quite understand. But tonight was different. As the full moon rose, casting a silvery glow over the village, Luna felt a sudden, intense surge of energy. The moonstone, which she always carried in a small, silver pouch around her neck, began to pulsate with a warm light. Luna's heart raced as she realized that something extraordinary was about to happen. She quickly gathered her things and set out on a journey that she knew would change her life forever. The village was quiet, everyone fast asleep, as Luna slipped out of her house and into the night. The air was crisp, and the scent of wildflowers filled her lungs. She followed the path that led to the edge of the forest, where the trees seemed to whisper her name, guiding her forward. As she reached the forest's edge, the moonstone suddenly burst into a blinding light, and Luna felt herself being lifted off the ground. The next moment, she found herself standing in a clearing she had never seen before. The trees around her were taller than any she had ever encountered, their leaves a deep, iridescent green that seemed to glow in the moonlight. In the center of the clearing, a small, shimmering pool of water reflected the moon above. Luna approached the pool, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she reached out to touch the water, a voice echoed through the clearing. "Welcome, Luna. It is time for you to embark on your true adventure." Startled, Luna looked around but saw no one. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice trembling slightly. "I am the guardian of the moon," the voice answered, and a figure slowly materialized from the mist that rose from the pool. It was a woman, glowing with a gentle, otherworldly light, her eyes as deep and dark as the night sky. "I have been watching over you for many years, and I have seen the strength and purity of your heart. The moonstone has chosen you for a great task." Luna felt a mix of excitement and fear. "What task?" she asked, her curiosity getting the better of her. "The moon is in peril," the guardian explained. "A dark force has begun to consume it, and if it is not stopped, the moon will be destroyed, and the balance of the world will be lost. You must travel to the lunar surface and find the heart of the moon, a sacred crystal that holds the moon's essence. Only by restoring the heart can the moon be saved." Luna's eyes widened. "But how do I get to the moon? And what if I fail?" The guardian smiled, her face full of warmth and reassurance. "You will not fail. The moonstone will guide you, and you will have the help of the lunar spirits. You must believe in yourself, Luna. The moon has chosen you for a reason." With a nod, Luna took a deep breath and stepped into the pool. The water was warm and enveloping, and she felt a strange sensation, as if she were being pulled through a tunnel of light. When she emerged on the other side, she found herself standing on the surface of the moon. The lunar landscape was unlike anything she had ever seen. The ground was covered in fine, powdery dust that glowed under her feet, and the sky was a deep, velvety black, dotted with stars that seemed to shimmer closer than they should. Luna could see a distant mountain range, and she knew that the heart of the moon was somewhere in those peaks. As she started her journey, the moonstone began to glow, showing her the path to follow. She walked for what felt like hours, the landscape around her changing as she moved. She passed through vast, sandy plains, crossed shimmering lakes of liquid silver, and navigated through forests of towering, crystal-like trees that seemed to sing in the wind. Along the way, Luna encountered various lunar spirits. There was the gentle, luminescent moon deer, who guided her through a maze of twisting paths. There was the mischievous moon rabbit, who playfully led her to a hidden cave where the walls were covered in luminescent moss. And there was the wise moon owl, who shared ancient knowledge and taught her the secrets of the lunar elements. Each spirit helped Luna in their own way, but the journey was not without its challenges. She faced treacherous terrain, including a deep, dark chasm that seemed to stretch to infinity. Luna hesitated, but the moonstone pulsed with a reassuring light, and she found the courage to jump. To her amazement, she landed softly on the other side, as if the moon itself had caught her. As Luna neared the mountain range, she could feel the darkness growing stronger. The air became heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the once glowing landscape began to dim. She knew that the heart of the moon was close, but so was the dark force that threatened it. Finally, she reached the foot of a towering, obsidian mountain. The entrance to a cave was visible, and Luna could feel the heart of the moon calling to her from within. She took a deep breath and stepped inside, the moonstone lighting her way. The cave was a labyrinth of twisting passages and hidden traps. Luna moved cautiously, her senses heightened by the moonstone. She could sense the presence of the dark force, a malevolent energy that seemed to be trying to block her path. But she was determined and pressed on, driven by the knowledge that the fate of the moon and the world rested on her shoulders. Deep within the cave, Luna found a chamber filled with an eerie, green light. In the center of the room, the heart of the moon rested on an altar, surrounded by dark, swirling shadows. The heart was a crystal of pure, radiant light, and Luna could feel its power even from a distance. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into a dark, shadowy figure. It was the moon shadow, a being of pure darkness that had been trying to consume the heart of the moon for centuries. The moon shadow hissed, its voice a deep, guttural sound that sent a chill down Luna's spine. "You cannot stop me, little one," the moon shadow growled. "The moon will be mine, and your world will be plunged into eternal darkness." Luna stood firm, the moonstone glowing brightly in her hand. "I will not let you destroy the moon," she declared. "I am the chosen one, and I will restore the heart of the moon." The moon shadow lunged at her, but Luna was ready. She raised the moonstone, and a beam of silvery light shot out, striking the moon shadow and causing it to recoil. The lunar spirits she had met on her journey appeared, their combined light growing brighter and stronger. The moon shadow snarled, but it was no match for the combined power of Luna and the spirits. With a final, desperate cry, the moon shadow was banished, and the green light in the chamber faded, replaced by a warm, golden glow. Luna approached the altar and gently lifted the heart of the moon. As she held it in her hands, she could feel the moon's essence, its life force, pulsing through her. She placed the heart of the moon back on the altar, and a beam of light shot up into the sky, illuminating the entire cave. The darkness was gone, and the moon's surface began to heal. Luna could feel the moon's gratitude, and she knew that she had completed her task. Exhausted but elated, Luna made her way back to the pool that had brought her to the moon. As she stepped into the water, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. When she emerged, she was back in the clearing in the forest, the guardian of the moon standing before her. "You have done well, Luna," the guardian said, her voice filled with pride. "The moon is safe, and your village will prosper for generations to come. You are a true hero, and the moon will always be with you." Luna smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. The moonstone around her neck was now a deep, crystalline blue, a symbol of her victory. The guardian placed a hand on Luna's shoulder, and Luna felt herself being transported back to the village. When she returned, the The village was still asleep, but the night sky was clearer and more beautiful than ever. The moon shone brightly, and Luna could see the faint outline of the heart of the moon, a beacon of hope and light. Luna crept back into her house, her mind racing with the memories of her incredible adventure. She knew that she had a new purpose, a mission to protect the moon and the village. She would continue to be the keeper of the moonstone, and she would always be ready to answer the call of the moon. As the first rays of dawn broke over Silver Lake, Luna stood by the old oak tree, gazing up at the moon. She knew that her life would never be the same, but she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For she was Luna, the chosen one, and the moon was her home. And so, Luna's moonlit adventure became a legend in the village of Silver Lake, a story of courage, faith, and the unbreakable bond between a young girl and the celestial body that had always been her guide. The Sleepy Elephant's Nighttime Trek. In the heart of the vast and lush African savanna, under the canopy of the star-studded night sky, there lived a gentle giant named Alara. Alara was a young elephant, the smallest in her herd, but she had a heart as big as the horizon. Despite her size, she was known for her adventurous spirit and her insatiable curiosity about the world beyond her familiar grazing grounds. Alara's herd was led by her wise and gentle mother, Mala, who had traversed the savannah for many years. Mala taught Alara and the other young elephants the importance of staying close to the herd and the safety that came with the company of family. However, Alara often found herself dreaming of the stories her grandmother, Zara, would tell about the magical places and mystical creatures that roamed the night. One particularly warm and moonlit evening, as the herd settled down for their nightly rest, Alara's curiosity got the better of her. The stories of Zara about the hidden waterfalls, the whispering trees, and the dancing fireflies had filled her with an unquenchable thirst for adventure. As the others drifted into a peaceful slumber, Alara quietly tiptoed away from the herd, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. She began her trek through the dense underbrush, her large, padded feet making barely a sound. The night was alive with the symphony of nature, crickets chirping, owls hooting, and the distant rustle of the wind through the grass. Alara's trunk twitched with every new scent, and her ears perked up at the slightest sound. The thrill of the unknown was exhilarating, but the thought of being alone in the vast savanna was daunting. As she wandered deeper into the night, Alara came across a small, shimmering stream. The water was clear and cool, and the moonlight danced on its surface like tiny, glowing diamonds. She bent down to drink, and as she did, she heard a soft, melodic voice. "Hello, little one. What brings you out so late?" Alara looked up, startled, to see a silver-coated mongoose sitting on a nearby rock. The mongoose had eyes that sparkled like the stars above and a friendly, wise demeanor. "I'm Alara," she replied, her voice a mixture of awe and shyness. "I was just exploring. I've heard so many stories about the magical places at night, and I wanted to see them for myself." The mongoose smiled, revealing a set of small, sharp teeth. "I can help you with that if you'd like. My name is Luna, and I know these lands well. But be warned, the night is full of wonders and dangers. Are you sure you're ready for this journey?" Alara hesitated for a moment, but then nodded determinedly. "I believe I am. I just need to see what's out there." Luna hopped off the rock and led Alara through the stream, guiding her to a path that wound through a dense thicket of acacia trees. The air was thick with the scent of flowering plants, and the ground was soft with a carpet of fallen leaves. As they walked, Luna told Alara about the creatures that came out at night, the nocturnal predators and the gentle, elusive herbivores. "Look up there," Luna said, pointing with her tiny paw to a branch above them. "Do you see the glowing eyes?" Alara looked up and saw a pair of luminous eyes peering down at her. A large, spotted leopard named Nala was perched on the branch, her tail swaying gently in the breeze. "Hi, Nala," Luna called out. "This is Alara. She's on a quest to see the magical places of the night." Nala smiled, her eyes softening. "Ah, a young adventurer. I remember my first nighttime treks. It's a wonderful way to see the world in a different light. But be careful, Alara. The night is not always as peaceful as it seems." Alara thanked Nala and continued her journey, Luna by her side. They walked for what felt like hours, the night growing darker and the stars more vibrant. Alara's eyes grew heavy with fatigue, but the thrill of discovery kept her moving forward. Finally, they emerged into a clearing where a magnificent waterfall cascaded down from a cliff, its water glowing with a faint, ethereal light. Fireflies danced around the base of the waterfall, creating a mesmerizing display of light and color. Alara was speechless, her heart swelling with wonder and joy. "This is the place Zara told me about," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with amazement. Luna nodded. "It's a wondrous sight, isn't it? But there's more. Follow me." They walked around the waterfall to a hidden cave. Inside, the walls were adorned with ancient carvings and paintings, telling the stories of the savannah's past. Alara's trunk traced the intricate designs, feeling the history etched into the stone. Luna explained the significance of each carving, from the great migrations of her ancestors to the battles of the mighty baobab trees. As they explored the cave, Alara felt a profound connection to the land and its history. She realized that the magic she had been seeking was not just in the physical beauty of the savannah, but in the stories and the connections that tied her to it. But as the night grew older, Alara's energy began to wane. Her legs felt heavy, and her eyes struggled to stay open. Luna noticed her fatigue and led her to a soft patch of grass near the waterfall. "Rest now, Alara," Luna said. "The night is long, and you need to be rested to continue your journey." Alara lay down, the cool grass soothing her tired body. She closed her eyes, the sounds of the waterfall and the fireflies lulling her into a peaceful slumber. In her dreams, she saw the savannah in ways she had never imagined. Fields of wildflowers that glowed in the dark, herds of elephants dancing under the moonlight, and the ancient spirits of the land guiding her path. When she awoke, the first light of dawn was filtering through the trees. Alara stretched her limbs, feeling refreshed and reinvigorated. Luna was still by her side, ready to guide her back to her herd. "Thank you, Luna," Alara said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You've shown me so much. I'll never forget this night." Luna smiled. "You've shown great bravery and curiosity, Alara. Remember, the magic of the night is always there, waiting for you. But now it's time to return home." Together, they made their way back to the herd. As they approached, Alara could see her mother, Mala, looking worried. Mala's eyes widened with relief when she saw her daughter. "Alara, where have you been?" Mala asked, her voice a mix of concern and relief. Alara recounted her adventures, from the shimmering stream to the waterfall and the cave. Mala listened intently, her eyes filled with pride. "You've grown so much, my dear," Mala said, nuzzling Alara with her trunk. "The savannah is full of wonders, and it's important to explore them. But always remember, the safety of the herd is paramount. We are a family, and we look out for each other." Alara nodded, understanding the importance of her mother's words. She knew that her nighttime trek had not only satisfied her curiosity, but had also taught her valuable lessons about bravery, responsibility, and the power of family. From that day on, Alara continued to explore the savannah, but she always did so with the herd, sharing her adventures and discoveries with her family. And every night, as the stars twinkled overhead, she would remember the magic of the night and the friends who had guided her through it. The sleepy elephant's nighttime trek had not only opened her eyes to the wonders of the world, but had also strengthened her bond with her family and the land she called home. The Little Cloud's evening voyage. In a sky painted with the blush of sunset, a tiny cloud named Breezy floated aimlessly among the vast expanse of cerulean blue. Breezy was unlike any other cloud. While most clouds were large and billowy, Breezy was small and swift, always eager to explore. The setting sun cast a warm, golden glow, and Breezy felt a gentle tug, a desire to set out on an adventure before the night fell. The sky was a bustling place, filled with other clouds of all shapes and sizes. Some were thick and heavy, carrying rain to distant lands. Others were thin and wispy, dancing to the whims of the wind. Breezy admired them all but felt a deep longing to find something unique, something that would make this evening memorable. As the sun dipped lower, Breezy decided to follow the path of the setting sun, drifting westward. The air grew cooler, and a light breeze whispered through the sky, guiding Breezy along. The little cloud felt a thrill of excitement as it soared over the rolling landscape below. Fields of golden wheat swayed in the wind, and the distant mountains loomed like giants, their peaks tinged with the last rays of sunlight. Breezy floated over a bustling town, where the lights began to twinkle like stars on the ground. The streets were filled with the sounds of people returning home from their day's work, the clatter of bicycles, and the chirping of crickets. The little cloud watched in awe as the town transformed from the daytime hustle to the peaceful serenity of the evening. Continuing its journey, Breezy drifted over a vast forest. The trees were tall and ancient, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Breezy could hear the distant calls of birds settling in for the night and the gentle lapping of a river that wound its way through the woods. The little cloud felt a sense of calm, almost as if the forest was a sanctuary, a place where all the worries of the world melted away. As the sky darkened, Breezy noticed a shimmering light in the distance. Curiosity piqued, the little cloud changed direction, heading towards the mysterious glow. It soon found itself above a serene lake, the surface of which reflected the stars above. A small boat, lit by a single lantern, was gliding across the water. The lantern's light created a warm, inviting aura, and Breezy felt drawn to it. The boat belonged to an old fisherman named Eli, who had been fishing in the lake for decades. Eli was a wise and gentle man, his weathered face marked with the lines of countless seasons. As Breezy floated closer, Eli looked up, his eyes widening with surprise. "Ah, a little cloud," he murmured, a smile spreading across his face. "How rare to see one of your kind so close." Breezy, feeling a connection, decided to stay with Eli for a while. It settled above the boat, casting a soft shadow on the water. Eli continued to fish, humming a tune that seemed to blend seamlessly with the sounds of the lake. The little cloud watched in wonder as Eli cast his line and waited patiently for a catch. Hours passed, and the lake grew even more tranquil. The stars twinkled above, and the moon cast a silver glow over the water. Breezy felt a deep sense of contentment, as if it had found a place where it belonged. Eli, noticing the cloud's stillness, spoke softly, "You know, little one, the sky is a vast and beautiful place, but sometimes the most magical moments are found in the quietest corners of the world." Breezy, though unable to speak, felt a warm response in its heart. It drifted a little closer to Eli, feeling a kinship with the old fisherman. Eli, sensing this, reached out a hand and gently touched the water, sending ripples across the surface. The little cloud mirrored this, sending tiny puffs of mist down to the lake, creating a dance of light and shadow. Suddenly, a gentle breeze stirred, and Breezy felt a new energy. It knew it was time to move on, but it didn't want to leave Eli. The fisherman, as if reading the cloud's thoughts, said, "Go, little cloud. The sky is your home, and there are many more wonders to discover. But remember, you can always return to this lake, to this moment of peace." With a final, lingering glance, Breezy began to drift away. It felt a mix of sadness and excitement, knowing that it had to continue its journey. The little cloud soared higher, the cool night air refreshing and invigorating. It passed over mountains, valleys, and cities, each one a new and fascinating sight. As Breezy traveled, it encountered other clouds. Some were large and imposing, others were playful and mischievous. Breezy learned from them, sharing stories and experiences. One cloud, a friendly puff named Gust, told Breezy about the wonders of the night sky. "There are so many secrets hidden in the darkness," Gust said, his form shimmering with excitement. "The stars have their own stories, and the moon watches over all." Breezy, inspired by Gust's words, decided to explore the night sky. It floated higher, above the clouds, into the realm of stars and planets. The night sky was a breathtaking tapestry of light, each star a tiny beacon of hope and wonder. Breezy felt a sense of awe, realizing how small it was in the grand scheme of things, yet how significant its journey was. The little cloud continued to drift, guided by the stars. It saw shooting stars streaking across the sky, heard the distant rumble of thunder, and felt the gentle touch of the wind. Breezy realized that the sky was not just a place, but a journey, a continuous exploration of the unknown. As the night wore on, Breezy began to feel a pull towards the horizon. The first hints of dawn were beginning to appear, and the little cloud knew it was time to return to the familiar world below. It descended, passing through layers of mist and fog, until it found itself above the same serene lake where it had met Eli. The fisherman was still there, his boat anchored in the same spot. The lantern had long been extinguished, but the first light of the morning was beginning to illuminate the lake. Eli looked up, and his face lit up with a smile. "Welcome back, little cloud," he said, his voice a warm greeting. "I knew you would return." Breezy, feeling a sense of homecoming, settled above the boat once more. The little cloud and the old fisherman spent the morning together, watching the sun rise and the world come to life. Breezy shared its adventures, the wonders it had seen, and the lessons it had learned. Eli, in turn, shared his own stories of the lake and the life it had given him over the years. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Breezy felt a new resolve. It knew that it would continue to explore, to follow the wind and the stars, but it also knew that it would always have a place to return to, a place of peace and friendship. With a final, grateful glance at Eli, Breezy lifted off, ready to begin a new day of adventures. The little cloud soared into the bright morning sky, its heart full of the memories of its evening voyage. It knew that the journey was far from over, and that there were still many wonders to discover. But for now, it felt content, knowing that it had found a friend and a place of belonging in the vast, beautiful sky. The teddy bear's dreamy travels. In a cozy little bedroom, nestled in the heart of a bustling city, lived a soft, cuddly teddy bear named Theodore. Theodore was not just any teddy bear. He was the prized possession of a young girl named Lily. Though he was well-loved, Theodore often found himself longing for adventure, a world beyond the confines of Lily's room. One moonlit night, as Lily slept soundly, Theodore's dreams took him on a journey that would change his life forever. Chapter 1. The Enchanted Forest. Theodore awoke to find himself in a lush, verdant forest. The moonlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting a magical glow on everything around him. He was no longer a stuffed toy but a living, breathing bear, with the ability to walk and talk. The air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers and the gentle sound of a nearby stream. As Theodore explored his surroundings, he met a wise old owl perched on a branch above him. The owl, whose name was Alwyn, looked down at Theodore with kindness in her eyes. "Welcome, young bear," she hooted. "You are in the Enchanted Forest, a place where dreams come to life. What brings you here tonight?" Theodore explained his longing for adventure and his desire to see the world. Alwyn nodded sagely. "Then you must follow the silver path," she said, pointing to a narrow trail shimmering in the moonlight. "It will lead you to the places you dream of. But be careful, for the forest has many secrets and challenges." With a grateful heart, Theodore set off along the silver path. The forest was alive with creatures of all kinds. Friendly squirrels chattered from the trees, and a family of rabbits hopped by, their fur glistening in the moonlight. Theodore felt a sense of wonder and excitement as he continued his journey. Chapter 2. The Crystal Lake. After what seemed like hours, Theodore arrived at a beautiful lake. The water was so clear that he could see the pebbles at the bottom, and the surface reflected the stars above. A voice called out from the lake, and Theodore turned to see a graceful mermaid emerging from the water. "Hello, Theodore," she said, her voice as melodic as the tinkling of a stream. "I am Marina. The Enchanted Forest has many wonders, but the Crystal Lake is one of the most magical. If you drink from its waters, you will gain the wisdom to face whatever lies ahead." Theodore felt hesitant, but Marina's words were reassuring. He leaned down and took a sip of the crystal-clear water. Instantly, he felt a surge of knowledge and understanding filling his mind. The world around him seemed to come alive in a new way. "Thank you, Marina," Theodore said, feeling more confident. "Be well, young bear," Marina replied, dipping back into the water. "May the forest guide you." With a newfound sense of purpose, Theodore continued along the silver path. Chapter 3. The Whispering Woods. As the path wound deeper into the forest, Theodore entered a section known as the Whispering Woods. The trees here seemed to murmur to each other, and the leaves rustled with a mysterious language. Theodore felt a chill run down his spine, but he remembered Marina's wisdom and pushed forward. Suddenly, a small, furry creature darted in front of him. It was a fox, with eyes as bright as emeralds. "Hi there," the fox said, tilting its head. "I'm Finn. The Whispering Woods can be tricky, but if you listen closely, they will tell you what you need to know." Theodore closed his eyes and focused on the whispers of the trees. He heard faint voices, each one telling a different story. One spoke of courage, another of kindness, and yet another of the power of friendship. When he opened his eyes, he felt a deep sense of connection to the forest and its inhabitants. "Thank you, Finn," Theodore said. "I think I understand now." Finn nodded, and with a swift bound, disappeared into the underbrush. Theodore continued on, feeling lighter and more determined than ever. Chapter 4. The Mountain of Echoes. The path led Theodore to the base of a towering mountain. The air was thin, and the sky was a deep indigo. Theodore could hear echoes of distant voices, and he knew he had to climb the mountain to reach his destination. As he began his ascent, the path became steeper and more treacherous. Theodore stumbled several times, but each time he fell, the echoes seemed to lift him up. They whispered words of encouragement, reminding him of the adventures he had already faced and the strength he had gained. At the summit, Theodore found a cave illuminated by a soft, golden light. Inside, he met a wise old bear named Gruff. Gruff was the guardian of the mountain, and his eyes held the wisdom of ages. "Welcome, Theodore," Gruff said, his voice deep and resonant. "You have come far, and your journey is not yet over. The Mountain of Echoes has taught you that your inner voice is your greatest guide. Trust yourself, and you will find the path." Theodore nodded, feeling a surge of gratitude. Gruff gave him a small, glowing stone. "Keep this with you," Gruff said. "It will guide you through the darkest of times." With the stone in his paw, Theodore descended the mountain, ready for whatever lay ahead. Chapter 5. The Luminous City. The path led Theodore to a breathtaking city. The buildings were made of shimmering glass, and the streets were lit by glowing lanterns. The city was bustling with all manner of fantastical creatures, from fairies to unicorns. A young fairy, with wings as delicate as lace, fluttered down to greet him. Her name was Luna. "Welcome to the Luminous City," she said, her voice as light as a breeze. "This is a place of light and hope, where dreams are woven into reality." "What is your heart's desire, Theodore?" Theodore thought for a moment. He had seen so much, learned so much, but his heart still longed for something more. "I want to bring light and hope to the world," he said, his voice steady. "I want to make a difference, no matter how small." Luna smiled, and her eyes sparkled with joy. She took Theodore's paw and led him to a grand hall. There, he met a council of wise beings who listened to his wishes. They nodded in agreement and bestowed upon him a magical cloak, woven from the light of the city. "May this cloak empower you to spread light and hope wherever you go," one of the council members said. Theodore wrapped the cloak around himself, feeling a warm, comforting glow. He knew he was ready for the final leg of his journey. Chapter 6. The Heart of the Forest. The path led Theodore back into the heart of the enchanted forest. The trees were taller, the air fresher, and the forest seemed to hum with a powerful energy. Theodore felt a pull, a magnetic force drawing him deeper into the forest. Finally, he reached a clearing where a giant tree stood, its branches reaching towards the sky. At the base of the tree, he found a small, glowing door. Theodore knew this was the moment he had been waiting for. He pushed open the door and stepped inside. The tree's interior was a warm, inviting space filled with soft, golden light. In the center of the room, he found a shimmering portal. "Step through, Theodore," a voice whispered. "Your journey is about to begin in the real world." Theodore took a deep breath and stepped through the portal. He found himself back in Lily's room, but everything was different. The room was filled with a gentle, golden light, and Lily was awake, looking at him with a smile. "Teddy, you look different," she said, hugging him tightly. "Did you have a wonderful dream?" Theodore felt the warmth of the magical cloak and the wisdom of the forest guiding him. He knew that his dream had given him the strength and courage to face the world. "Yes, Lily," he said, "I had the most amazing dream, and now I'm ready for whatever adventures come our way." From that night on, Theodore and Lily embarked on many adventures together. Theodore shared the light and hope he had gained from his dream travels, and Lily's world became a brighter, more magical place. The teddy bear who had once longed for adventure had found it, not just in his dreams, but in the real world, side by side with his best friend. And so, Theodore's dreamy travels continued, not as a physical journey, but as a journey of the heart, spreading light and hope wherever he went. The sleepy time train to the land of dreams. In the heart of the bustling city of Somnium, where the sun set with a golden hue and the stars twinkled like tiny lanterns, there was a hidden secret known only to a select few. This secret was the sleepy time train, a magical locomotive that appeared once every moon cycle, right at the stroke of midnight. The train was a marvel of wonder, its exterior painted in a kaleidoscope of soothing pastels and adorned with twinkling fairy lights. Its whistle was a soft, melodious tune that could lull even the most restless of souls into a deep, peaceful slumber. The legend of the sleepy time train. According to the ancient folklore of Somnium, the sleepy time train was created by the guardian of dreams, a benevolent spirit who watched over the city's inhabitants. The guardian, named Lucid, had the power to craft the most extraordinary and enchanting dreams, but he could only do so for those who boarded his train. The train's tracks were invisible to the waking eye, running through a realm where dreams and reality intertwined. Only those pure of heart and desperate for a night filled with wonder and magic could find the station and catch the train. The night of the full moon. On a crisp autumn night, as the full moon hung low in the sky, a young girl named Alara stood at the edge of the city park, a place she often visited to escape the chaos of her everyday life. Alara was a curious child, with a wild imagination and a heart full of dreams. She had always been fascinated by the stories of the sleepy time train, and tonight, she was determined to find it. The park was deserted, the only sounds being the rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of crickets. Alara's feet crunched on the gravel path as she walked deeper into the park, her eyes scanning the dark landscape for any sign of the train. Suddenly, a soft breeze swept through the trees, carrying with it the faint sound of a train whistle. Alara's heart leaped with excitement. She followed the sound, her steps quickening as the whistle grew louder. The hidden station. After a few minutes, Alara found herself in a clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a small, ornate station, its wooden benches and lampposts glowing with a gentle blue light. The station was empty, but the air was thick with a sense of anticipation. Alara approached the ticket office, where a friendly old man with a long, white beard and twinkling eyes greeted her. "Welcome, little one," he said, his voice soft and melodic. "Are you here to catch the sleepy time train?" Alara nodded eagerly. "I am. Can I board it?" The old man smiled warmly. "Of course, but only if you have the ticket of truth. Tell me, what is your deepest wish for tonight's journey?" Alara thought for a moment, her eyes bright with hope. "I wish to see the most beautiful and peaceful dreams, and to meet the guardian of dreams." The old man nodded in approval. "Your wish is pure and true. Here is your ticket." He handed her a small, shimmering slip of paper, and the doors of the station opened with a creak. Boarding the train, Alara stepped through the doors and onto the platform. The sleepy time train was waiting, its doors open and inviting. As she approached, the train's lights flickered, and a gentle voice whispered, "Welcome aboard, Alara. Your journey begins now." Alara climbed into the train, and the door closed behind her with a soft click. The interior of the train was even more magical than the exterior. The walls were lined with soft, cloud-like cushions, and the windows were framed with curtains that shimmered like starlight. The seats were comfortable and warm, and the air was filled with the scent of lavender and chamomile. A conductor, dressed in a conductor's uniform made of moonbeams and stardust, approached her. "Welcome, Alara. I am your guide for this journey. Please make yourself comfortable. The train will depart shortly." Alara sat down, her heart pounding with excitement. The conductor handed her a cup of a glowing, golden liquid. "This is the elixir of dreams. Drink it, and you will enter a realm of your deepest desires and imagination." Alara took a sip, and the world around her began to blur. She felt a warm, drowsy sensation wash over her, and her eyelids grew heavy. As she closed her eyes, the train's whistle sounded, and she felt the gentle pull of motion as the sleepy time train began its journey to the land of dreams. The journey through the dreamscape. Alara's consciousness drifted, and she found herself in a world unlike any she had ever seen. The sky was a swirling canvas of colors, ranging from deep purples and blues to vibrant oranges and pinks. The ground beneath her feet was soft and spongy, like a bed of cotton. She floated through the air, her body as light as a feather. As she traveled, she saw fantastical creatures and landscapes. She flew alongside unicorns with wings of iridescent feathers and watched as dragons with scales of molten gold played in a meadow of flowers that glowed in the dark. She saw waterfalls made of liquid silver and forests where the trees whispered secrets of the universe. The guardian of dreams. After what felt like hours of wonder, the train came to a stop. Alara opened her eyes and found herself in a vast, open meadow. In the center of the meadow stood a grand, ancient tree, its branches reaching high into the sky. Under the tree, a figure cloaked in a shimmering robe sat on a stone bench, a gentle smile on his face. "Welcome, Alara," the figure said, his voice like the soft rustle of leaves. "I am Lucid, the guardian of dreams. What brings you to my realm?" Alara's heart swelled with awe. "I wanted to see the most beautiful and peaceful dreams, and to meet you. I've heard so many stories about you and the sleepy time train." Lucid's smile widened. "And you shall see them. But first, tell me, what do you wish to learn from your journey?" Alara thought for a moment. "I wish to understand the power of dreams. How can they change the world?" Lucid nodded thoughtfully. "Dreams are the seeds of imagination, and imagination is the spark that ignites change. They can inspire, heal, and bring hope. But they must be nurtured and believed in to grow into something real." He stood and extended his hand. "Come, let me show you the realm of wonders." Alara took Lucid's hand, and they began to walk through the meadow. As they walked, the landscape shifted and changed, transforming into a series of vivid dreamscapes. They visited a city where the buildings were made of crystal and the streets were lined with glowing flowers. Alara saw people from all walks of life, their faces lit with joy and wonder as they explored the city. Next, they traveled to a vast, underground cavern where the walls were covered in bioluminescent moss. In the center of the cavern was a pool of water that reflected the stars above. Lucid explained that this was the Lake of Reflections, where one could see the truest version of themselves. Alara peered into the water, and to her surprise, she saw not her reflection, but a vision of her future. She saw herself as a grown woman, surrounded by children, teaching them about the wonders of the world and the power of dreams. She saw herself writing stories that brought joy and inspiration to others. The vision filled her with a sense of purpose and determination. The bridge of imagination. Finally, Lucid led Alara to a magnificent bridge that spanned a deep, dark chasm. The bridge was made of pure light, and it shimmered and danced as they approached. "This is the bridge of imagination," Lucid said. "It connects the land of dreams to the realm of reality. Only those who believe in the power of their dreams can cross it." Alara hesitated, her heart racing. "But how do I know if I believe in my dreams enough?" Lucid's warm eyes met hers. "You will know, Alara. Close your eyes and think of your deepest wish. If it is strong enough, the bridge will carry you." Alara closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She thought of the stories she wanted to tell, the lives she wanted to touch, and the world she wanted to change. With a newfound sense of courage, she opened her eyes and stepped onto the bridge. The light beneath her feet grew brighter, and she felt a surge of energy as she walked across. The return to reality. When Alara reached the other side, She opened her eyes to find herself back on the sleepy time train. The conductor was standing by the door, a knowing smile on his face. "Your journey is complete, Alara. It is time to return to the waking world." Alara felt a pang of sadness. "I don't want to leave. The land of dreams was so beautiful." The conductor's smile softened. "You will carry a piece of it with you always. The power of your dreams will guide you, and the memories of your journey will stay with you forever." Alara nodded, her heart filled with gratitude. She drank the last of the elixir of dreams and felt a gentle pull as the train began to slow. The station appeared, and the doors opened. A new beginning. Alara stepped off the train and found herself back in the park, the moon still high in the sky. The station and the train had vanished, leaving no trace of their existence. But Alara knew they were real. She walked home, her mind buzzing with the wonders she had seen and the lessons she had learned. The next day, Alara sat down at her desk and began to write. She wrote stories of unicorns and dragons, of cities of crystal and lakes of reflections. She wrote about the power of dreams and the importance of believing in oneself. Her words were infused with the magic of the sleepy time train, and they touched the hearts of everyone who read them. The legacy of the sleepy time train. As the years passed, Alara grew into a renowned author, her stories bringing hope and inspiration to people all over the world. She never forgot the night she boarded the sleepy time train, and she often spoke of the guardian of dreams and the lessons he had taught her. She encouraged others to nurture their dreams and to believe in the magic of imagination. The sleepy time train continued to appear on the night of the full moon, welcoming new passengers and guiding them through their own magical journeys. And for those who believed, the land of dreams was always just a ticket away. Epilogue. Years later, Alara stood in the same park where her journey had begun, watching as the moon cast a silvery glow over the trees. She smiled, knowing that the sleepy time train was out there, somewhere, ready to take the next dreamer on a journey of a lifetime. She closed her eyes, and for a moment, she could hear the soft whistle of the train, a reminder that the power of dreams was always within reach. And so, the legend of the sleepy time train lived on, a beacon of hope and imagination in a world that sometimes forgot to dream.